And I believe there's something else that they also stopped supporting with their premium thing, but what they do still support is a handful of things, including like a 14-day channel guide that allows you to do recordings of episodes and specific things, as well as the streaming outside of your home network. That's part of their premium lineup. Here is a Android TV. Here's the Tablo app. I just installed it, so I'm going to open it up for the first time here to just see how it functions relative to the Roku TV that I use upstairs. Hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Let's talk about this cool device here. This is a Tablo. This is a quad tuner, and it has a 1 terabyte built-in hard drive, and this is for over-the-air TV. So this is for people that want to cut the cord, get rid of cable, get rid of satellite, which I have actually never purchased myself. My parents had cable and satellite, but I have actually never done it. I've always been on over-the-air TV myself. I have videos out there for different types of antennas I've used and tested to get the signal, but this is really takes the whole over-the-air TV experience and really makes it much more like the cable and satellite ones are today, especially with the ability to watch your stuff on demand whenever you want, as well as watch it out of home, as well as multiple TVs inside the house. So this thing is really cool. I'll kind of talk about some of the features. I'll show you it in action and how to use it, and then what I think about it after messing with it. I have been using over-the-air TV for many years now without a device like this, but this brings some really great things. And there's one thing specifically that I've kind of cheated in, that for some of my channels I've been able to use either a friend or family member's login to get their network or that channel's app on the TV so I can watch on demand. And that's something that I think they're gonna crack down on, or they are cracking down on constantly. And this will help get rid of that need, because this can do series recording. So I can say, hey, I want you to always record this show for the entire series, and it will do that for you. This 1 terabyte hard drive that's built in does like 700 hours of recording. You can also buy one without the hard drive built in, and instead you just plug in a USB hard drive that's up to like 8 terabytes in size, and you can record as much as you want that way. Now this one also has the quad, so that means 4 different TV tuners. So that means that it can be deciphering 4 different stations at the same time. And what that means is that, one, you can either record different stations at the same time you're watching. So if you have, let's say, multiple sports games or multiple different shows going on, you can have one recording in the background and you can be watching another one, or you can have 4 different TVs all watching different things, or even as complicated as a couple TVs in your house watching different channels, one recording, and then you can have someone else that's streaming from this device, but they're out in some other state and they're streaming it to their mobile phone from this device. So that's the kind of features that this thing can offer. Let's open it up and I'll show you what it does. Alright, so in the box it really has very few things. It has a nice color, quick guide to set up. It's supposed to be very easy to do. We'll find that out here in a second. But then in the box itself, this is the Tablo device, and again, this one has a built-in hard drive into here. It's a little 2.5-inch hard drive, and again, you don't have to use this one. You can buy your own if you wanted to. And this one is a network attached or network connected Tablo. They also have TV connected, and so the difference there is this one actually does not have like an HDMI port to connect directly to a TV. So this is not plugged in directly to your TV. Instead, this has an Ethernet port that would plug into your home router or Ethernet jack. Also has Wi-Fi built in. You can use that as well. And then it has a single coaxial, which your antenna comes in on, but then it streams that signal to the TV, and that's where you do have to check compatibility. Now, most smart TVs are compatible with it. It can be a Roku TV, it can be Android, Apple, NVIDIA Shield, Amazon Fire. All those really common ones are supported, so I don't see that as being a problem. But it needs to be a smart TV, or you have to have some other network capable streaming box like a little Fire TV or Apple TV to connect to it, because you download basically a Tablo app that will be able to connect to this. So when you're in your house, you are using your own network connection to send the TV signal from this Tablo device to your TV. So that means you're not using up any of your internet. You're not going out and using up any of the ISP's network. Instead, that's all local. But then if you were to stream either to another mobile device or even another TV outside your house, then that obviously goes out through the internet. And so that's something you need to consider if you do plan on doing that a lot. Do know that you are going to take up a hunk of your bandwidth, and you want to make sure you have good broadband signal to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to get good quality streaming outside of your house. So on the back side here, the other thing is the USB port. So this is a USB port that you can use again for a external hard drive if you weren't using a internal one. But that's really all there is to it, to this device itself. And then in the box we have a couple more things, and one is a Ethernet cable, which it's always preferred to use Ethernet if you can, because it's just a better connection. You don't have to rely on Wi-Fi. But if you don't, again, you can use the Wi-Fi connection instead. And then here we just have a power adapter to plug into the wall to give you power. So let's plug it up. We will get it set up. You do need a Android or Apple device like a tablet or smartphone, and or a Mac or Windows PC to be able to do the activation on there. But it should be fairly quick and easy. So let's see. Alright, so I downloaded and installed the Tablo app. I have not created an account or anything yet, but I'm going to open it up. I hooked up the Tablo in a closet that has both Ethernet and a antenna, coax connection, and that is the best way to obviously do this. So I clicked search for the Tablos. It found a new one here, and so again my Tablo device is plugged in, is powered on. It has both the antenna connection to my antenna for over-the-air TV, as well as Ethernet directly to one of my routers. So now I'm going to tell it to connect. Alright, so the first thing here obviously is wanting to do a software update. I'll let it go ahead and do that. Alright, so that software update is complete. So let's go to begin the setup. Alright, so it says obviously make sure your antenna is connected, because part of this step is that it is going to search for what channels you get. Alright, so this one says, it sees the built-in storage. Like I said, this has a built-in 1 terabyte. But if you had your own, it would maybe recognize that, and it might ask you to format it. Alright, so now I hit begin the channel scan. So now it's going to look for what channels I get. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. It goes through here and it recommends certain channels that it has selected. It looks like it's mainly the anchor station, so the -1 when you talk about these digital stations. Without getting into too much detail, basically when you get a TV station, they will send out multiple different channels, and they show up here as like a -1, -2, -3, -4. So I am a little bit confused why honestly it doesn't let you, or doesn't by default select all of the -2, -3, -4, -5 sub channels on there, but I'm going to do that myself. And then some of these, it shows on the far right is the color of the quality of connection. So for this channel 56, it shows that it's orange, so obviously it's not the best, and I know that as far as a connection, but I want to add them anyways. I like adding all the channels. Alright, so I can always come back and change these, I'm sure, take some off, or rescan if I move the antenna around, and I think I can pick up new stations. And so here, looks like the only ones that are kind of questionable are the orange ones there on channel 56, which means I don't have the best signal quality.
what is kind of neat is that right here it tells you what quality signal you do get from these. So this is good to see. You can see which ones are 1080 I or P, as well as which ones are 720, 480, that kind of stuff. So let's add these to the guide. Alright, so now it's going to download the schedule, or basically the TV guide. Now it does this for each channel, and by default you get 24 hours of a guide looking ahead, but with their added service, which is a paid service, it is up to I think 14 days that you get of a schedule, and so that obviously adds also some other features as far as what you can do with the Tablo app itself. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Alright, so the Tablo is all set up and it's already downloaded all the channel guide and whatnot, but I have not added it to a TV. So since mine is a network connected, I have to go into my TV or my other devices and add the Tablo app to work. So this here is it's actually a fairly cheap TV. It's a Hisense TV, but it's a Roku TV. So it runs off the Roku operating system. So in here I'm going to go into my channel and I'm going to add a Tablo one, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is version 3.0 for the Tablo app. We'll go to the channel here. So my Tablo is hooked up by Ethernet still to one of my routers. This TV is hooked up to my Wi-Fi. And now you see it automatically. I didn't do anything. The app automatically detects that the network has a Tablo device on it and it connects to it. Okay, so once I'm in here, you can see on the left side you have a couple different areas or tabs to go into. This live TV one is the one I'm in. If I go here, you can see the guide here as well as my channels, and I can go in here and I can get more information about them. For example, if I hit OK instead of the play button, it will pull up information about it. So this is the news, and it's just telling you what it is. This obviously doesn't have a lot of information because it's just the news, but I can tell it to record. I can tell it to go to that show where I can see all of the other episodes for it. Or I can go back to the live one and I can do the same thing. I hit OK first if I want to get more information about, what the summary is for that specific episode, as well as it tells you, other information like when did it air the first time, is it a rerun, is it new? And I can hit watch, or I can just go directly in here and hit the play button on my Roku remote, and it will go straight to that channel. You can see it does take a second of buffering. I have it on mute so it doesn't interfere with the sound here, but this is another thing to talk about, and that is how you have your settings set up for the streaming quality. By default it does 720p, and that's where they say is like the best kind of compromise, and takes about 5 megabits per second of bandwidth to do that. Now that's local traffic, right? So that's from your Tablo device to your TV. But that can start to add up over time if you're doing lots of them, lots of devices at the same time. So here is the TV. From what I can tell, it is slightly worse quality than a direct stream to the TV from my antenna. And I'm assuming it's doing some compression there as it's sending the data over Wi-Fi. And that's one of the things that with a direct antenna connection, there is not compression. You go straight to that tuner and out to the TV, but it's still very good quality. This channel is a 1080i channel natively when it comes in from the station, and I have it streaming at the 1080 quality as well in the Tablo settings. Let me show you those real fast as well. So just going back, when I go over here, I can go down here to my settings. And then in here you can see stuff like, the subscription, and by the way, they're actually changing up their subscription stuff. By the time this airs, it'll already be switched over, meaning if you haven't activated your Tablo device by July 19th, I believe, of 2022, then you can no longer activate a new device and get things like the commercial skip
And I believe there's something else that they also stopped supporting with their premium thing, but what they do still support is a handful of things, including like a 14-day channel guide that allows you to do recordings of episodes and specific things, as well as the streaming outside of your home network. That's part of their premium lineup. So if I go over here and just go down in these settings, you can see here is my recording quality, and it tells you it's at 1080, which is 10 megabits per second, and that's what I have it set up, R720 at 60 frames per second. And then same thing for live TV quality, you can change that. Both of these were set at 720 at 30 frames per second by default. And then you can also change things like surround sound. By default, that's actually off. My only complaint about this setting is that this is for all your devices. So I think it says it right here. And the problem is some devices don't support that being on, which means you don't get any sound. So my TV seems to work fine. I'll go check out my Android TV. It all seems to work fine with the surround sound on. But you might have a device that doesn't support it, and then you would need it to be off. Some different things like fast TV startup, and then commercial skip, I have that on. It does take bandwidth when you do that, and I forget how much it takes, but it's a fair bit. I think it's like 100 megabytes or something of per hour of video that it has to do some data processing to find where those commercials are when you are recording shows. Scheduling, you have duplicates or extend for live recording. So this is obviously like sporting events that might not always end on time. You can add more time to it to make sure it captures the whole show or game. Here we have a couple different options for the guide, and you can also update it if you need to. You can see my channels, which I have 92 channels listed there. And a quick note on that is this TV right now actually picks up 82 channels with this antenna setup. I had another antenna setup where it got 92, but this antenna is slightly different and I guess slightly worse. And this TV actually lost 10 or 11 channels because of that, but the Tablo device actually picks them all up. So that tells you that it has a little bit better of a tuner capability than at least this TV does. Alright, and then that's about all there is to it for the Tablo settings. And let's go back and see some of the other areas that you can look into with the Tablo itself. Alright, so for recordings, I don't have any, but I will get some to play with. Here is where you could select them, you can watch them, you can obviously delete them, that kind of stuff. This is interesting. I think this is part of their premium service. It's called, I think a lot of these actually are, where they have the filters basically. So this is prime time, and these are shows that it at least are considering are the prime time shows to pick from. So if you need something to, to kind of browse and find new shows to watch, this tries to show you all the major ones. And they're in alphabetical, but you can also do a search for them by name or by channels. If you know, hey, I really like whatever it is, ABC, CBS, that kind of stuff, you can go to those specific ones there. Let me just pick one so we can see what it shows you if you were to select it. Alright, so this tells you, a little bit of information about what the show does. You can go to episodes here, you can go to record or more, so let's just click episodes. This is showing you the different seasons as well as the dates that they first aired. And then you can click on these and get more information about that specific episode. You can record that specific episode, and then you can see the arrows. I can go up and down from there to other episodes in there as well. So let's go back. Let's go over here to TV shows. So now these are specific shows that are out there, and again, you can do searching. You can look at ones that are just now premiering or airing for the first time. You can look at them by genres and different channels. So lots of ways to kind of break down the different shows that are out there, and also set up for recording and whatnot on them. Okay, so movies are very similar, and you can see here, you can again pick specific genres if you wanted to just do action movies. It'll show you all those. So really, it really opens the door of one of the downsides of over-the-air TV, meaning it's kind of harder to find what is on there. In the past, you know, I've used things like TV guides on my phone to try to figure out what's coming up. This allows you to kind of make it that, you know, more cable or satellite, where you can look at them not from just what channel you're on, but what kind of show you want to watch, what kind of genre you want to look at, and then you can set up recordings of these as well, so you can watch them at your own free leisure time. Alright, so I just picked The Bachelorette because the wife likes that show, and so I'm just going to show you how I'm going to set up recording that for all the new ones that come out. So I click here, I can say all episodes or new episodes, so I'll just do new episodes. And then as far as keeping them, you can define if you want to always keep them or how many of the past episodes to keep. Obviously, if you're doing lots of recordings, it would be beneficial for you to set a time frame at which you start to delete old shows, because it takes up a lot of space. And then you can tell it on which channel. So like, you know, if you have, for example, a channel that maybe is not as good quality, or maybe it doesn't have as good signal reception, you can tell it to not record on a specific channel, only pick one. For me, example, I get at least 2 ABC stations. One's a Detroit one, one's a Flint one, and maybe I like one over the other one. So you can shut that here. You can tell it when to start and stop, and that's all there is to it. So now it's going to be a scheduled one to record. Alright, so here's the schedule. All I have is this Bachelorette one set up, and I can click on it and it will just show me what that show is and how I have it set up to record new ones. I can obviously change the settings here as well if I wanted to. Alright, so kind of a neat feature is when you're watching it, if you don't want to hit back and go to the full TV guide, you can actually just press the up down button, at least on the Roku remote, and it gives you this mini guide over here to the side, so you can quickly see what your other channels are. And what I kind of like about it is that it gives you more information than just what the show is, but it tells you like when it started, as well as when the next one does start. So kind of good to understand, hey, you know, this one just started 11 minutes ago, or you know, did one start 3 hours ago. You know, that might change your opinion on if you want to watch it. So this allows you to still watch your other show while you pick out or look and browse for other ones. Okay, and so on this TV, again, this is a lower end Hisense TV, but there is some waiting time when I do make changes. You know, for example, if I just go down here and go to a new channel here, you'll see it does have a few seconds here of, I wouldn't call it buffering, because it is, it seems like it's the TV itself kind of loading. So, you know, that's something that maybe this TV is worse at, and I'm sure it's based off the processing power of the TV or the ROM or something in there. So let me go down to one of my Android TVs and just see how different the user experience is. Overall, I like the setup. It's easy to use, very easy to follow. In fact, the first time I'm really messing with it is live here on the camera, and I haven't made too many mistakes so far. So I'm actually pretty happy with how it's laid out and the graphics and other information like that. But let's go check out some other devices to see how they do. Alright, so this is my tropical workout room. Long story there, but here is a Android TV. Here's the Tablo app. I just installed it, so I'm going to open it up for the first time here to just see how it functions relative to the Roku app that or the Roku TV that I use upstairs. Alright, so it looks like it found it and it automatically connected just like upstairs, and now we get our live TV guide over here that we can scroll down to, and we can pick, I'm going to go back to the same channel again, CBS, just because that's, I think, The only one I remember of that is the 1080 quality, to make sure I'm showing the highest quality one here on the TV. But here, great quality. This does seem to be faster than the Roku. And again, this is not a high-end TV either. This is a little Philips TV that runs on Android, but it's not a high-end spec. So if I go down on this one and click to change the channel, I do get the spinning wheel there for a second on this one as well, but it's not as long or bad of a duration. Okay, well there we go. Here's this Tablo. It works on Android. Alright, well I think this product does offer something unique and that's not available out there, especially if you cut the cord and you go to straight over the air. There are a couple things that you might miss, and this does help replace many of them, as well as give you some additional features as far as the Wi-Fi streaming or network streaming to multiple devices, as well as streaming outside your home network to really anywhere that has good internet connection. So those are some unique features that I really do like about it. It has a little bit of drawback there in that you have to have an app on your TV or your device to support the network cable one. They do have direct TV connected one with like HDMI cable, and I always hate having multiple remotes or multiple ways to connect to the TV. So that's the one downside I will say, is that by having it as a separate app, it's another thing I have to go into and select to open up, and depending on your TV, that might be better integrated on some devices than others. And then you do need to make sure you have the Wi-Fi or the network capability in your home network to support this. In the settings, if you go up to the full 1080 quality streaming for your live TV, then you need to have about 10 megabits per second of bandwidth used up for one device. So you can easily see if you have multiple people, 3-4 TVs going at once, then you might be taking up 30 or 40 megabits per second of home internet speed. Now that's not your internet speed out to the wide area network. So most networks, especially if you have a Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi 6 router, it shouldn't be a problem at all. But if you are streaming that outside of your network, then a lot of home ISPs don't offer really high upload speeds. Typically in the 10 to 20 range is fairly normal. So if you are streaming more than one device out there and you're trying to do other things at home, that could become a bottleneck. So that's something you need to make sure you understand and keep in mind when you go to this. But overall, I think it's a really neat product. I think they do have obviously the free version where once you buy the product, a lot of the stuff works straight away without any kind of reoccurring subscription. But their premium service, which actually just kind of changed up recently, it does offer you the 14-day guide, which gives you the ability to record episodes of specific shows. Say, hey, I want to record every episode or every new episode of show, as well as giving you the ability to do things like streaming your content outside. That's about a $5 a month, I believe, fee, or $50 a year, which is obviously a slight discount there. And so that is still way less than any kind of cable bill. I don't think you can really get cable today for much less than $50 a month. So this one is at least 10 times cheaper than going that route. And honestly, it gives you some unique features that you can't get in a cable service. So, okay, well, thanks for watching. I think there is some more stuff coming out in the future here, especially with Tablo. I know they're working on some new products. And as you go to ATSC 3.0, which is a new standard, they call it also a Next Gen TV is the other marketing name for it. But that's for the over-the-air stations of how they communicate and send those signals to your TVs and how you can interact with them in the future. That is going to continue to evolve, and I think companies like Tablo are going to be on the leading edge of that and help consumers like you and me actually take advantage of all those features. So I'm excited to see what else comes out and what the new features can be going forward.